This is episode 356 of the Super League Pod, our second, and let's hope last ever, double-header weekend of the year in Super League. So double the games, double the stats, double the ref faults, and double the fallouts. You listeners have managed to give us fan views on most of the games in time for the show. We've got bad actors, bad morals and bad losers. We've got good youngsters, good tries and good comedy. We recap what has been decided so far, speculate on what is to come and run the rule over all the action from the fan's eye view. Strap in for a long one. It's SLP time. Hello listeners, welcome along to episode, what number is it David? 356 of the Super League Pod?
Something like that.
You got myself, Mark, and I'm joined by David. And probably, David, Wigan versus Saints. We've had that game over the weekend. But we can kind of both be happy, can't we? Because Wigan beat Saints, but Saints still wrapped up the League Leaders Shield over the weekend. So it's kind of been a successful one for both of us in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, I've completely forgotten about the Wigan Saints game, Mark. I've passed that by now. It's been blanked out.
Okay. Well, something that hasn't been blanked out is our sponsor. Do you want to tell everyone about them?
I'll certainly do that. Super League Pod is sponsored, as always, by Rob's Megastore. Rob's Megastore stocks a wide variety of toys, stationery, arts and craft ideas, pet accessories, books, and, of course, the famous Rugby League birthday cards. Search for Rob's Megastore on eBay or find the link on our episode blog post on superleaguepod.com. SLP listeners can use the code SLP10, that's SLP10, at the checkout to get 10% off orders over £5. Or you can enter SLP discount and give your 10% towards funding SLP's running costs instead, which we would be very grateful for.
Yeah, whilst you're on eBay looking for Rob's Megastore, also search for Reclaimed Heaven, the sister store of Rob's Megastore that sells second-hand goods rather than new goods. Okay. Well, as we know, it's been a double-header weekend, so we've got twice as many games to get through.
Mad.
So it's not just it's not just tough for the players and the coaching staff and stuff like that. It's tough for us podcasters too. So with that in mind, we're going to get right to it. So what we'll do is I'll just tell you how to get in touch and get involved in the show for future ref, and then we'll drop right into round 25 of Super League. So on social media, it's at Super League Pod on Twitter and Instagram, or facebook.com/SuperLeaguePod. You can email superleaguepod@gmail.com or visit superleaguepod.com to get info on each episode and links to the Google Forms for your fan views so that we can share and discuss them on the show, as we're going to get to plenty, I'm sure, over the two rounds. And don't forget to subscribe in whatever podcast app you're listening to us on and leave a rating and review if you can. Right, with that in mind, we're going to go straight into Super League match reviews. Okay, David, we're going to start with Wednesday night. There was a Wednesday night game.
This seems like decades ago, but it was only last week.
And it was actually one of the most eventful games of the weekend, even though it was one of the lowest scoring.
Yeah, I thought it was a really, really good game, this one.
Yeah, it was Leeds versus Huddersfield. Enjoyable for all the neutrals, I'm sure. It was 8-6 to Huddersfield at half-time, but Leeds came back in the second half with some crafty help along the way to win 18 points to 14. 11,225 was the crowd. Jack Smith was the referee. In terms of the team stats, Huddersfield made 300 more metres at over 1 metre per carry better average gain, with fewer errors and penalties conceded too. But they could only make 4 breaks, which was the same as Leeds. They missed 4 goals and had a below 90% team tackle success rate. So some of the factors there in why this went Leeds' way, but I'm sure we'll hear about some of the other factors very soon. Do you want to take us through the individual stat performances?
I will. So for the winning Leeds team, David Fusitua, 184 metres. James Bentley, 50 tackles, 12 from marker. Ash Handley, 1 try assist on 125 metres. And Tom Briscoe, the returning Tom Briscoe, 7 tackle busts, 108 metres and 3 offloads. And for the losing Huddersfield team, Tui Lawler here, 2 try assists, 5 tackle busts, 181 metres, great stats. 138 metres for Luke Yates. Danny Levy, 48 tackles and 12 from marker, and Ollie Russell, 126 metres.
And the first fan view, the person who left this for us didn't want to leave their name. They just put a full stop. We don't encourage that, but I can maybe understand why when the comment that they left was, "Wish Myler broke his neck, stupid prick." We're right into it, David.
I'm guessing that's Huddersfield fan, just a guess. And then we had from @the Owland Fleece, awful game to watch. Completely disagree. Thought it was great. No flow to the game. No need to give a yellow for any of the 4 yellows. I'm just checking my notes here. I thought at least 2 of them were perfectly good. Giants, the better team, should have won if they could kick a ball through the posts. True. But Rhinos also defended well, which they did. We're on our way to Old Trafford. I'm not sure who they're supporting, though, to be quite honest. But anyway, there you go.
Yep. Always in our shadow said, Myler goes full Jack Wellsby and everyone goes wild. Hill got what he deserved. He should have let go. Game dull. Sutcliffe already has the FC curse. Can't believe how shite Russell's kicking is. Yeah, Sutcliffe got injured in the game, but he seems to be fine because he played in the Monday night game.
Yeah, the Monday, yeah. Coming up roses. Huddersfield haven't looked the same since the Challenge Cup final. While they were trusting the process, Leeds decided to pull their finger out and sneak a try. Myler milking the pen was bad, but Levi was brushed by someone's forearm and looked like the ref.
The ref.
Yes, looked at the ref like he'd just been slapped. Pathetic from both of them.
Now, my understanding is in the post-match press interview rather than the immediate TV interview, Ian Watson did call out Levi's actions as well. I suppose the difference was Levi was technically caught high and he was kind of milking it to try and win a penalty, whereas Myler caused it all upon himself. I disagree, by the way, with the comment. Always in our shadow said it. I've seen it elsewhere on Twitter as well at the time and stuff, and after the game about Hill getting what he deserves because he should have let go. I counted it, and it was like less than 2 seconds before Myler upends himself from when Hill made contact with him.
Okay,
I think that's pretty quick to me.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough, Mark. I mean, at the time I was one of those people who thought, Hill, you idiot, you should have just let go. But if it was only 2 seconds, that's not. Yeah, that's still. But if you're right, if it is only a couple of seconds, then maybe we're just post hoc analysing what happened.
Yeah. Who's next? I think it's Esther.
Not an exciting game with too much cheating by both sides. Leeds just edging it because Giants kicker was rubbish. I'm surprised how many comments we've had about it not being an exciting game. I really enjoyed it, actually. I thought it was a great game.
Yeah, I found it enjoyable and engrossing. Yeah, Leighton Rhino said, Is SLP starting to believe yet? # Saint Rowan.
No.
I mean, it's weird that we didn't hear from Leighton after Monday night's game. But...
the answer is no, we're not. Mark W says, I've got a lot of patience for ref mistakes in non-TV games, but I can't get my head around how the officials could watch multiple replays of the Poundshop Tom Daley's antics, and that's very good, and decide it was a yellow. Sure, it would be nice if we'd kicked a touchline conversion or 2, but we wouldn't need that buffer if we weren't getting 10 in the bin every time a nearby Leeds player fell over. Disappointing, but so it goes.
I think we need to qualify that with a bit of even-handedness there. That there was 2 sin bins against Leeds before any sin bins were given against Warrington and against Huddersfield, and the 2 against Huddersfield were in the last 5 minutes of the match.
Yeah,
so...
I mean there were 4 sin bins in the game, and I thought 1 each was fair enough.
I thought the Austin one was a bit harsh.
Yes, I thought that was soft. So I thought the first one was soft. I thought the second one was fair enough.
This was the Caesar one, which I think is the incident Caesar's picked up a grade B high tackle one match penalty notice for.
I thought that was fair enough. I thought he hit him.
Ultimately, he's hit him in the head with his shoulder, hasn't he? In the tackle. And the tackle was marginally late and he's hit him in the head with his shoulder. I think you can say fair enough on that.
I thought fair enough.
And Farge's concussion didn't come back into the game, did he?
No, he didn't. He dropped out of the game, which had a significant effect on Huddersfield. I thought the Hill one was ridiculous but stupid from Hill not to let go, but that was my view at the time. Having heard your 2 seconds, maybe I was a bit wrong, but I mean, Myler clearly milked that, and it probably ought not to have been a sin bin. But then the last one, even though they got the wrong chap, Greenwood, I don't think it was his fault. I think Levi should have been sin binned. I mean, it was clearly dangerous what happened there. So I thought that was a fair enough sin bin, maybe not the right person that ended up with a great yellow card.
So I thought the Austin one, they talked about it being a shoulder charge. It was off the ball, but it was more a shove. And I think the consequence of it was that the player went into another Leeds player, and I think actually the Leeds player seemed to come off worse but was able to play on. But was it Gannon who he fell into? So I thought that one was a bit harsh, but I can understand why it was given, because it was off the ball. He took a man out off the ball, even though the way he took him out wasn't a shoulder charge in my book. The Caesar one, I can definitely understand on replay. I get the arguments of what's he supposed to do, he's got to go in, but what he doesn't have to do is jump into the tackle, and then that's why he ends up hitting someone in the head with his shoulder. Really, his technique's poor. We saw that in the Magic Weekend game where he got sin-binned and I think got off quite lightly with that high tackle in the end. Back at Magic Weekend, if people remember Caesar sin-binning late on in the game against Cancer. The Myler Hill incident, I think everyone's kind of been played a bit there. You can argue Hill could have let go, even though I don't think he was lying on excessively. I think you could argue Hill could have let go. Myler had no one to play it to if Hill had let go after 1 second.
He didn't.
But having said that, Myler's caused it. Myler's play acted. Myler's con-duped the referees. And I think it's a shame that obviously that became the main talking point after the game. I think we all, rather than let's get into like club versus club, player versus player, etc., like a lot of fans do, because let's face it, we are the biased ones. Let's just say none of us want to see it. No. We've talked about, there was Liam Farrell held his head, didn't he, in the late on in the Magic Weekend game, and when I watched that back I was like, that was out of line, he shouldn't have been doing that. He did get hit in the head, but come on. Levi in this game, people have talked about, he did get hit in the head, but it was nothing really. He didn't need to be staying down. There was one in our game, wasn't there, on the Friday night, where I don't think there was anything in the tackle. I think he ended up kind of falling awkwardly from it, and the young Sim it was, and he was actually hurt. But I don't think he was trying to dupe anyone with anything like that. But as soon as someone stays down, I saw it the other week in a non-televised game at Wakefield where the player was perfectly fine but stayed down long enough for the referee and the touch judge to have a chat and decide maybe there was something in it, so let's give a sin bin. So I think it is creeping in. It is frustrating fans, and I think everyone should be on the same side on this. We don't want our game to be like football. Winning at all costs should not be what we go for. It shouldn't be how we look at things. It's not. To me, it's a consequence of a broken, fucked up society rather than this kind of place you want to see your sport played, and rugby league has always been more honourable than that. Not saying that rugby league has not had moments of dishonour in it, but generally speaking, it's a tough game played by people who respect the toughness of each other, and it feels like we're losing that a little bit.
I mean, we've always prided ourselves on the fact that in rugby, our players spend the whole of the time trying to pretend they aren't hurt rather than trying to pretend they are hurt. At the moment, I'm not quite sure we can say that anymore. But I don't like it.